Hello friends, I'm coming to you right in front of the Royal Palace in Stockholm, Sweden, where we're going to be talking about no-go zones. We're going to be talking about organized crime and gun control shootings here in Stockholm as well as Sweden. We are right in the middle of the tourist district. Everyone is here, so I'm going to be trying to stay out of trouble here, but we'll be posting this video a little after I'm already gone out of the city. But we got a lot to talk about. Sweden has made a really big hard turn recently. They have gone from being extremely pro-migrant to being not migrant-friendly at all. They have just started celebrating the fact that they actually have more migrants leaving than they do coming, which is big because right now in Sweden there's about 10.5 million people. That's how big the size of the country is, and about 2.1 million of those people here are actually born in other countries. So they have over 20% of their population. We're right at about 20% of their population is actually foreign born. That's how much migrant, 1/5 of all the people in Sweden were not born in Sweden. So that just tells you kind of historically where it's been for the last couple decades. But now, just what was it, 10 years ago, the Prime Minister said to the Swedish people, open your hearts to the migrants, open your hearts to people coming in. And now we have the one of the major government officials in charge of migration celebrating negative net immigration. The fact that there are more people leaving this country than are coming in. That is a big shift, as you can imagine. We got about $34,000. They got a little band going around on a boat, but $34,000 now being offered to migrants who will go home. That is official government policy. They've actually set up $440 million over the next 3 years to curb migration. So as you can see here, the whole bringing people into the country has definitely generated a massive backlash. We've just heard that Germany has followed suit. Essentially, they're going to start imposing border controls at their land borders to make sure that people coming into their country from other Schengen countries inside the European Union are actually allowed to be here in the first place. So Germany is saying no more. We got other countries like Poland saying no more, nope, not going to happen. Sweden out here now starting to put pressure on people to leave and for people not to come. So we got all that. And so we're going to get into kind of why that is, why they made such a hard shift on that, why they do that, right? So we get the, like I said, the Royal Palace is right behind me and the Parliament building is just over there. And what is going on that has led to this dramatic shift? One of the things that really led into this is the no-go zones. They're technically called vulnerable areas by the police here, but these are areas where on the negative side, they don't want people going in there. Journalist Lauren Southern did a big post about that. I'm going to try to link that at the end of the video here. Eye-opening situation there. Just journalists, citizen journalists trying to get into some of these zones and just like, well, I just want to walk through this area, this neighborhood with a camera, and being stopped by the police and the police telling them it's unsafe to go in there. And then when they say, okay, well, we're going to take the risk, they're being told, no, you're not allowed to go in there. That's the kind of no-go zones we're talking about here, is that basically where you have populations that have taken over the area and are imposing Sharia law in a lot of these cases. And this is what we're talking about here. Of the 2.1 million people in the country that are born elsewhere, about 800,000 of them are Muslims. The number one country where people are foreign born is Syria and Iraq. So Syrians, 200,000 people from Syria. Now, not all Syrians are Muslim, and so a lot of the people that fled Syria were Yazidi or Christian. So there's that. But when we start talking about Iraq, 146,000 people from Iraq, foreign born, we're talking about a large population, and most of them are Muslim. 60,000 Afghans, 60,000 people from Afghanistan here. If you can just imagine how having, about 400,000 people in your country that were born either in Syria, Iraq, or Afghanistan, I mean, what percentage of those people really don't like your country? What percentage of those people really think that their country was right on a lot of the things that they did? That's the concern there. So we saw a lot of areas inside Sweden being declared no-go zones. That's what the public and what the media have called them. Police calling them vulnerable areas. 2015, there were 53 of these zones across the country. Now there's currently 61 of these zones, and there's a few here in Stockholm where you're not allowed, if you're not Muslim and you're not willing to obey the Muslim rules, you're not allowed to go. And the police, the Muslims actually get their own police cars. It's absolutely crazy what has taken place, where they have transformed portions of the society. The amount of assaults on women, not to use the word that we're not supposed to use here, have gone through the roof. When you compare the crime stats here in Stockholm with other major cities across Europe, Rome is a pretty rough place, but there are twice as many burglaries here per capita as Rome. 50% higher physical assaults, and then when we talk about assaults on women, 6 times as many assaults on women. What's the difference between here and Rome? The difference between here in Rome is the fact that you have a very high proportion of people born in other countries, particularly where women are not valued. Twice as many car thefts as Rome per capita. You just go down through the numbers. When we look at assaults on women compared to Paris, 3 times higher here than there. And Paris has got a large population from those countries as well, just not nearly the percentage. The percentage difference is just astronomical. I mean, when you're talking about 1/5 of the people in this country are not from this country, you're going to see a little bit difference of the cultures out there. So that's one of the things that's really, and you just look at before these policies were taken into place till now, you'll see a dramatic shift. You see assaults on women tripling, quadrupling over the last couple decades. You see, and this is per capita, so we're not changing things by the numbers. We're changing things per 100,000 or per 1 million, and not only that, but we're also seeing massive increases in gun crime. Gun crime. This is the gun murder capital of the world. And with strict gun control regulations here, the simple fact is that organized crime accounts for 80% of the homicides with guns, and that is happening. It's not individuals, doing stuff so much as it is organized crime gangs, and particularly foreign organized crime, generally speaking. We're talking about 80% of those statistics out there happening do that. But we're in compared to other European countries, we're talking about 2 to 3 times the amount of gun deaths as other countries per 100,000. So I mean, we're talking about a major increase, major difference in numbers between here and other European capitals. So there's definitely clearly a problem here. The Swedish people have just, let's just say, responded. And through recent elections and pressure being put on the government, they're demanding that the government take action. And basically what they're saying loud and clear is no more. We are done. We've taken in enough. We need to assimilate the people we have. If we can get some of these people to go, we have too many. not too little. They're offering, like I said, $34,000 for any migrants who want to go home, any migrants who are willing to go home, because they realize that it's actually cheaper for the government to actually pay $34,000 for someone to go home than for them to stay here. When you think about that, and you think about 2.1 million people, and the government would find it better in their interest to pay $34,000 for any one of them or all of them to go home. That's how much they're adding to the Swedish economy, according to an impartial government assessment. They think that these people are negative assets to the government, negative assets to the country at large, to the tune of at least $34,000. So everyone who's saying that we should take all these people in because they're so great for the economy, blah, 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 that is demonstrably false. Germany is fed up with the crime and the danger to its citizens. Sweden has taken a hard line just in the last couple weeks, and they are cracking down hard on people who should not be here. There is, there's the old saying that it's just simple. That if you want to go somewhere, if you want to go join a country, you need to become that country. You need to join the culture. You need to learn the language. You need to learn the food, and you need to become part of that culture. You can bring some of your distinctives with you, but you can't form your own communities on other people's land. You can't take all the horrible policies, horrible religions, and everything else that you had back home and just try to transplant them on somebody else's land. That's not how this works. And this idea of colonizing cities in Europe with Muslim values is having this damaging effect, just like it has everywhere else. And scarily to say, we're having that happen in the United States as well. But in the United States, generally speaking, we're seeing more Chinese coming across the border. We're seeing more people from Africa coming in, less Muslim populations, but they are in the mix. And the simple fact is that there's just a lot more people in the U.S. So when we talk about, what would it take for the United States to get to 20% of our population being foreign born? That would be absolutely insane. If you can imagine those numbers, if you go to Springfield, Ohio, that's what the numbers kind of are. They had 33% of their population added to the city with foreign-born, particularly Haitians. And that has just radically transformed that whole city and that whole neighborhood. So this country is an example. They tried. They really tried. And they failed. They failed to make things better for the people that were there. They failed to make things better for the people that were coming. And hopefully we all learn from this example. Hopefully this example is teachable to us, that immigration works as long as there is assimilation that happens along the way too. When the country starts making financial as well as policing compromises, that's when you really see that things are completely out of control. When there are communities, regions set up with their own legal systems, you have lost control. When people are coming in not to add value and to work hard for their living, but rather to come and mooch off the system, that doesn't work either. And we really need to address these things, because that's what's happening in the United States by and large in a lot of these places. We need lots and lots of legal immigration. We need legal people coming from all over the world who are bringing their values, their talents, their skills, their knowledge to add to our country. And that's something that European countries are learning by and large all out there. All right, friends, thanks so much for joining with us at the Poplar Report. If you want to check out another video from the channel, there's one right there on the screen. And we will see you over there. And where will we head next? That is up in the air for you guys. I'm going to be on my way by the time I post this video, so hopefully be having some videos from those locations shortly. Thanks so much for watching and being part of this community. I will see you guys again later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.